There is a language older than words, written in symbols and dreams, in myths that curl like smoke around the edges of history. To truly understand the alchemy of desire, we must step beyond theory and into the realm of story where the subconscious whispers truths the rational mind struggles to grasp. These are the tales that map the hidden terrain of longing, the narratives that reveal how sexual energy, when mastered, becomes the key to both creation and liberation. The myth of the androgen, remembering wholeness long before Plato's Symposium. Before the splitting of Adam into Eve, there existed a myth of primordial wholeness, being both male and female, complete unto itself. In this original state, desire did not exist, for there was nothing to lack. But when the gods divided this being, desire was born, the eternal yearning to return to unity. This is not merely an ancient metaphor. It lives in the pulse of every human heart, the ache for something just beyond reach, the sense that we are fragments searching for our other half. But the alchemical secret hidden within this myth is that the other half is not outside us. It is the lost part of ourselves, the inner marriage of masculine and feminine, action and receptivity, fire and water. The journey of desire, then, is not just about union with another, but about reclaiming the wholeness within. The mystics knew this. In the tantric traditions, the highest practice was not the physical act of sex, but the internal unification of Shiva and Shakti consciousness and energy within the practitioner's own body. The medieval alchemists encoded this same truth in their illustrations of the rebus, the two-headed hermaphrodite, symbolizing the perfected self. Desire, in its purest form, is the compass pointing us back to ourselves. The Fisher King and the wasteland, desire unfulfilled in the Arthurian legends. The Fisher King is a ruler wounded in the thighs or groin, his injury rendering his kingdom a barren wasteland. Nothing grows, nothing thrives until a seeker asks the right question and the spell is broken. This myth is a mirror. The wound in the thighs is no accident. It speaks of desire, blocked, energy corrupted or trapped. When sexual energy is shamed, exploited, or left to stagnate, it does not disappear. It becomes a poison, leaching vitality from all aspects of life. The wasteland is the mind devoid of inspiration, the body drained of vigor, the soul parched for meaning. But the legend also holds the cure. The Fisher King is healed not by force, but by awareness, the right question asked at the right time. In the same way, the alchemy of desire begins with a simple but radical act, seeing our own energy clearly, without judgment or fear only. Then can the waters flow again, turning the wasteland green, the lotus in the mud, transcendence through desire in Eastern traditions. The lotus is the ultimate symbol of transformation, rooted in mud, rising through murky waters, blooming untouched by the filth that birthed it. This is the journey of sexual energy refined. The mud is the raw, primal urge. The flower is the same energy, now luminous and free. There is a dangerous misconception in many spiritual circles that enlightenment requires the denial of desire. But the lotus does not reject the mud. It uses it. The alchemist does not flee from passion, but follows it all the way through until it becomes something else entirely. This is the path of the Sahaja Tantrika, who walks through desire without clinging or aversion, and the Taoist sage, who circulates the energy of Jing into higher forms. The lesson here is subtle but vital. Transcendence is not escape. It is the full alchemical digestion of experience, the turning of base hunger into the nectar of awakening, the phoenix and the forge, Destruction as creation, no symbol captures the essence of alchemy more than the phoenix, a bird that burns itself to ash, only to rise anew. Fire is both destroyer and renewer, and so is desire. To work with this energy is to enter the forge willingly, to let old identities, old compulsions be consumed in the flames. This is where many falter. We cling to the familiar, even when it chains us. We fear the dissolution that precedes rebirth. But the phoenix myth reminds us, the fire is not the end. It is the crucible of transformation. Every artist knows this moment, the blank page, the void, the terrifying freedom of creation. Every lover knows it, the surrender required to touch something real. The alchemy of desire demands this same courage to let the old self burn, so the new can take wing. The cosmic dance, desire as the engine of the universe. Finally, we come to the grandest narrative of all, the dance of Shiva Nataraja, the god who whirls the cosmos into being with his movements. In one hand, he holds the drum of creation, in another, the flame of destruction. His dance is the pulse of existence itself, the endless rhythm of attraction and release, union and separation. This is desire at the cosmic scale, not personal, not petty, but the very force that spins galaxies and births stars. To align with this current is to step into the great dance, to feel one's own longing as part of something vast and sacred. The tantric practitioner who channels eros into meditation, the poet who turns heartbreak into verse, the innovator who burns with a visional, are dancing with Shiva, whether they know it or not. These myths are not mere stories, they are maps, showing us how to navigate the treacherous and glorious terrain of desire. They teach us that this energy is not ours to possess, but ours to participate in, to ride like a wave, to shape like molten gold, to offer up like a prayer. If the core themes of this path give us the architecture, the symbolic narratives are the stained glass through which light pours, illuminating the journey in colors the intellect alone cannot produce. They are the myths, dreams, and parables that carry truths too vast to be spoken plainly. In the realm of sexual energy and its transformation, these stories are not mere ornament. They are the living pulse of the teaching, the whispers of an ancient memory we feel more than we understand. 1. Such story tells of a kingdom in which the river of life was pure and boundless, flowing from the mountains in crystalline torrents. The people drank from it, bathed in it, and it nourished their fields and dreams alike. But over time, they began to take it for granted, scooping up its waters without care, letting it spill wastefully into barren ground. The river, sensing the lack of reverence, retreated into the earth, leaving only small pools behind. The kingdom grew restless and dry. It was then that a wanderer came, speaking of a hidden spring far below the surface, one that could be coaxed to rise again if the people learned how to call it with song, patience, and devotion. Many scoffed, but a few followed him into the deep caverns, where they learned to listen to the murmur of the buried water, to feel its pulse, to honor its rhythm. Slowly, the river returned, not as it had been, but more vibrant, more alive, because it had been rediscovered, courted, and cherished. So it is with sexual energy. When it is spent without awareness, it grows shallow. When it is feared and locked away, it becomes stagnant. But when approached with reverence and intimacy, it rises again, purified and eager to nourish every field of our being. The river becomes not only a source of pleasure, but a living teacher. In another tale, more ancient still, we hear of the firebird, a creature of brilliant feathers, that shimmer between gold and crimson, who visits the dreams of those standing at the threshold of transformation. The firebird's feathers are said to be made of desire itself, each one a spark of longing so intense that it could burn the unready. Many chase the firebird, hoping to pluck a feather and possess its power. Yet the more they grasp, the further it flies, until they are left scorched by their own desperation. Only those who stand still, who can bear the presence of the bird without trying to claim it, find that it settles on their shoulder, laying a feather there as a gift. Such a feather, when tended with care, becomes a quill through which the bearer can write poems that awaken nations, paint visions that heal wounds, or sing songs that dissolve sorrow. This is the paradox at the heart of the alchemy. The more we try to seize the power of sexual energy through force or control, the more elusive it becomes. But when we meet it with patience, openness, and willingness to be transformed by it, it comes to rest in us naturally, and its power is given freely. There is also the allegory of the two flames. In the old law, every soul carries a twin flame. Within, one is the flame of hunger, which seeks union with the world through touch, sensation, and immediacy. The other is the flame of vision, which seeks to create, to shape, to give birth to something that will outlast the moment. Most people live in cycles where one flame burns bright while the other grows dim, swinging between craving and creation. But the masters of desire's alchemy learn to unite the flames until they burn together, feeding one another. Hunger gives vision the raw material of longing, and vision gives hunger a horizon beyond simple consumption. When the two flames merge, their light is steady and unending, and the one who carries them becomes a beacon to others. In these symbolic narratives, the message is never about rejecting the lower in favor of the higher, nor about drowning the higher in the intoxication of the lower. Rather, it is always about weaving the two into a single thread, so that the primal and the transcendent speak to each other. The serpent's coil is not cut, it is invited to rise. The river is not dammed, it is given new channels to explore. Even in dreams, this truth arrives. Many who walk this path report visions of climbing towers, ascending staircases, or walking through gardens where blossoms open in sequence, each revealing a new color or fragrance. These dreamscapes are not accidents of sleep. They are the mind's way of mapping, the ascent of the energy through the inner centers of being. The tower is the spine. The flowers are the chakras. The ascent is the transmutation itself. 2. The rational mind. Such images are poetic at best, fanciful at worst. But to the soul, they are instructions, blueprints for the architecture of awakening. In the great myths of the world, from the Sumerian descent of Inanna into the underworld, to the Hindu stories of Shiva and Shakti's cosmic dance, we see the same pattern hidden beneath different masks. The journey of descent into the depths of the body's longing, the confrontation with its shadow and its shadow's treasures, and the return to the world with a new, integrated power. The union of opposites, the balancing of fire and water, the wedding of earth and sky. All of these are metaphors for what happens when sexual energy is refined into creative and spiritual force. These stories endure because they remind us that the work is not sterile or mechanical. It is alive, unpredictable, and profoundly human. The river may swell unexpectedly, the firebird may vanish for years before returning, the two flames may flare unevenly. But each challenge is part of the deepening, part of learning the patience and presence without which the alchemy cannot unfold. And so, the symbolic narratives do more than illustrate the path. They are the path in a language older than reason. When we carry them with us, they work on us in secret, shaping the way we meet our desires, our creations, and our moments of choice. They remind us that we are not the first to walk this road, and that somewhere in the deep vault of the collective soul, there is a treasury of feathers, flames, and river songs waiting for us to claim them, not by force, but by becoming the kind of vessel they long to inhabit.